And welcome back into Open Line. I'm Chuck Long here with Kevin Kennedy from the Kennedy Law Firm. We appreciate so many of the calls, so many great calls that we've had this evening.
Excellent.
You know, it's helping a lot of folks.
Yes, and it helps us evaluate. We like to try to share.
Absolutely. So if you do have one of those questions or comments, make sure you get on the line with us as quickly as possible. Not a lot of time left in the show this evening, but like I said, our phone's been very busy all evening. We are going back to the lines right now. Katrina, we are glad that you called in this evening. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Yes. I live in a mobile home, and I keep getting letters from Ditech Holding Corporation about an amended deadline for filing proof of claims. And I don't know what it's about. I have like a stack of papers about it, and they keep sending me that they're filing bankruptcy, but there's you can send in some information about, do you believe you have a claim that arose before the filing date of February 11th, 2019? Certain individuals and entities may not need to file a proof of claim. I don't know what it's all about.
Well, basically what you've got, somewhere along the line you've done business with this company and they have filed a bankruptcy. As a general rule, if someone files bankruptcy and you are one of the creditors, the bankruptcy trustee sends you a notice and lets you know that that person has filed bankruptcy. All the federal laws kick in. You're not supposed to try to collect from them once you get that notice. It's called the automatic stay. So you have a right to file a proof of claim for the bankruptcy trustee to consider. This sounds like it may be some kind of class action, and you should try to call if they've left a phone number on there to pursue it, or you may not have any notice. Of course, lots of people get lots of calls, and they're trying to put together a class action, and so as a general rule, they're very minimum recovery. And so I just try to find out what that was all about if you have a number and address.
All right, so that is good to know. Katrina, we appreciate the call this evening. Kevin, I was asking, this happened to a friend of mine, and, in this day and age when everybody has a phone, and of course you've got your video right there with the phone, security cameras and what have you. What happens if, for example, you have a fender bender, you're in the car alone, people that you had the fender bender with, 3 people in that car,
I know.
They're saying it was your fault, you say they came into your lane. Can you take out your phone and start videoing or just recording what happened?
Absolutely. And the truth is, it always gets down in a court of law. Who has the evidence? Some people always are around, 2 or 3. They say, why do they always have 2 people with them? That's always their witnesses. So again, and you and I talked about that during the break. What do you do if it's a dark, abandoned country road and and the people that are getting out of the car make you feel extremely uncomfortable because what would a reasonable person do in those circumstances? And it's not unheard of that people have fender and then they rob you. And it kind of reminds me a little earlier of the old saying. The guy said, well, I'd rather be tried by 12 than carried by 6. Well, I've heard that old saying. So what do they really mean? They mean they didn't want to get caught out there and be shot and killed or maimed or whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of validity to that. Also, one of the things that I think people call in and that they're surprised, and it's like it's the time limit has passed by. What happens when someone is involved in some kind of medical case?
Yes.
They start taking the information down. Something happens, 2 years passes, and they say, but do I have a case? Right.
Right. And in Tennessee, we have a 1-year statute of limitations. So you've got to file your claim. And if you don't, of course, the insurance companies sometimes can say, well, okay, we're investigating this, we're investigating. Well, you think that you got a good understanding that they're investigating and go back past your time when you file. Then their lawyers would say, statute of limitations is our defense, case to be dismissed. And so it's a hard world that we live in. So all the time you should be thinking and listening and trying to advance your own cause.
All right, we'll get some more tips from you on things like that. But first, we're going back to the lines. Don is on the line with us. Don, good evening. Do you have a question or a comment for Kevin?
Question.
Okay.
I have had 3 cancer operations, which I paid for at a local hospital in Nashville.
Okay.
When that was over, they recommended that I go in for radiation therapy.
Okay.
I was very forthright and told them I did not have the money for it, that I only had Medicare.
Yes.
And I only had an income of $1,600 a month in Social Security.
Yes.
The doctors told me that they would do it there It's Skyline and Sarah Cannon for Medicare only.
All right.
They went ahead, prepared the mask, did the other things. I wasn't comfortable. I asked my son to come in, who is 51 years old. They verified in front of him that they would do it for Medicare only.
That's good.
And they've been sending me bills ever since from the hospital. Now they say I'm under review by the board. I don't know what to do. I'm so nervous I don't even want to go to the mailbox. And I don't even know what under review by the board even that gum means.
Well, one of the things that I think you could always do, and good reference, you can always send a letter back to them, and you could say, "Dear Dr. So-and-so, this memorializes our conversation back on February the 5th, where you and I and my son was present, and confirmed that this operation and the treatment would be satisfactory with Medicare payments only, which would have meant no out-of-pocket expense to me. And thank you for your attention." Now, what did you get accomplished? You reduced to writing what your understanding was. And it's a little late, but if you had that going forward, a good understanding keeps down a misunderstanding. And if Chuck were my doctor, I could say, "Dear Chuck, it was wonderful to meet with you. Thank you so much. This memorializes our conversation where you said there would be no out-of-pocket expense for this treatment. Look forward to seeing you, your friend Kevin C. Kennedy." And so what I have there is some documentation. And what does it mean under their review board? Everyone makes claims. Everyone is disputing these medical costs. Sometimes they come back and say, "You're covered." Well, then we get a letter and they say, "You're out of the network." Well, that's not what was represented to me. And see, misrepresentation or intentional misrepresentation or negligent misrepresentation is still a grounds for defense if they try to bring a case against you.
All right, great, Kevin. So we do need to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to wrap it up, and we're going to tell you how you can get a hold of the Kennedy Law Firm. So come on back with us.